Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at basically what you should do every single week and how you can easily track it in World of Warcraft. So let's talk about the add-on, because I think it's probably the easiest way to kind of start this video and saves you a lot of time listening to me. But basically the add-on is called Chore Tracker. It's a really nice add-on you can get from CurseForge or wherever you collect add-ons. And basically, it's a great way to track all of your weekly quests you can do. I'll talk about weeklies and how they work and what they drop you, etc, etc. But basically, you can customize it as well. So you can customize what you want to track. For example, you can disable all Dragonflight chores. You can also, set up different chores. You can disable certain ones that maybe you don't want to track. You can disable event ones. There's professions that you can track as well. So there's a lot that you can and cannot adjust to basically set it up so that it's personal for you. And this will enable you to literally track and tick off exactly what you want to have done during the course of the week. So it's a great add-on. I highly suggest you grab it. It just really helps. It also has timers for certain things. But yeah, really, really awesome stuff. But for now, let's kick off with what we need to have done. So the first one is very easy. It starts in Dornigal, and they're the first three. So you get these 3 weekly quests. You will get 1 dungeon quest, which will give you resources and also reputation most weeks. You will then get a secondary quest. This will be for certain tasks. That could be 3 dungeons, it could be 3 mythic dungeons, it could be heroics, it could be raiding, etc. And this essentially will give you these tasks, which is very important to do. Again, giving you reputation and quest XP. And then you do Call of the World Soul. And this will let you choose, and you can actively choose whichever one you want to do. And by choosing these, essentially you're choosing how you want to get your pinnacle chest for the week. So world quests, basically complete certain world quests and special assignments to aid people. Spreading the Light, you can choose one of the random area events. So each week a different random area event will be, so like Area of the Light, Theater Troop, Awakening the Machine, etc. Arakara, City of Echoes is also great, or this will be a dungeon quest, and you get World Boss, which is obviously whichever one you want. Whichever one you choose, the first 2 will give you a Pinnacle Cache, which contains a veteran key, or a veteran piece of gear. And then after that, basically, you get restored Kafir keys, which are very important because you use them for bountiful delves. Those are not the only weekly quests that we have. You will also have weekly profession quests, and you can accept these. You get them for both gathering, which is great, and you also get them for your crafting professions. So these are great for essentially giving yourself the weekly quests. These will give you knowledge. They require you to complete different work orders. So gathering ones require you to gather certain materials, and the crafting one you find here from Kayla Clayhoof, and these will require you to complete work orders for your professions. Speaking of world events, the next section tackles these events specifically. So we have the Theater Troop events, we have the Awakening the Machine event, we have the Radiant Chest event, which you can see here, Spreading the Light, and then in Azj-Kahet you have to accept a weekly quest, and we'll talk about that one in its own little section. Your 3 main area quests are going to be here in the Isle of Dawn, Theater Troop, which is every hour on the hour. You have Awakening the Machine, which is a solo event you can do, and then you have in Hallowfall the Radiant Chest, which is something you can also just do at any time. All of these will give you a quest chest, so they will give you these caches. Again, these caches contain materials. The first 2 weekly caches you get will give you veteran rank gear. Beyond that, they will just continue to give you upgrade materials. They also give you restored keys. Alongside those weekly events, you also have special assignments. These function the same way. Each zone has a special assignment. Special assignment can be unlocked once you have completed 2 quests in that area. So once you have completed 2 world quests or 3 world quests in case of Azj-Kahet, you will be able to get yourself these chests. Now they cycle through areas throughout the week. So 2 areas are up at each time throughout the week. Once those 2 areas are done, the other 2 areas will be done. Again, these share the same cooldown with your weekly caches from the events. So you cannot get more veteran gear from them. They share that cooldown. But you can, of course, grab yourself lots of materials, gold, some more restored coffer keys, although those are shared the cooldown as well. But you can still obviously get them. You will also get a weekly delve quest that you can pick up. This can be basically obtained from Bran from time to time, and this will give you a veteran piece of gear, but will require you to complete a certain delve. So pretty straightforward. The delve will be randomly selected from all the delves that you see. You will get the usual delve bonuses as well in the course of that time period. So definitely something you should do. There is a weekly quest for PvP players, quite a few actually that you can find, so I highly suggest you go through here. There are 3 that you get: Preserving in War, which requires you to obtain honor in an epic battleground. There is Preserving in Arenas, which requires you to gain honor in arenas. And then there is Sparks of War, which requires you to collect Sparks of War, which is War Mode victories, while in the Isle of Dawn. All 3 are obviously worth it for PvP players, allowing you to grab up PvP gear. But yeah, that's really, I mean, that's it. PvP's got really quite a few quests, and you will have to do the PvP battlegrounds to achieve this. For the Azj-Kahet, or the Hand of the Vizier, basically you have to, instead of like a weekly event here, you have to do activities in Azj-Kahet. Not only do you have to do these activities, but you also have to speak to which of the factions you want to do the activities with, which will give you a bonus with the faction, which will give you a boost with their own internal rep, as well as also obviously giving you a boost towards their benefits. So it's definitely something that's useful. I highly suggest you start with Tulamon because of the ability to get a boost to your drop rate for Kedge. So you can start there. But yes, basically this is tied to your weekly quest for the Vizier. Highly suggest you do this. Alright, so let's talk about weekly lockouts, so we can obviously understand exactly what you can do each week and what you can't. So firstly, full disclaimer, let's talk about delves first. So delves, super important, but delves are actually locked out daily and weekly. So bountiful delves can be run every single day. They rotate daily. You'll get fresh rewards from them, but your keys are tied obviously to weekly events. So your restored keys are, very clearly tied to that. So that makes them a bit difficult to kind of run through. Then the actual weekly rewards from the delves is set weekly. So you can't spam them. You will start to get reduced EXP after your first clear of them on normal. And then obviously you can only clear a certain number on bountiful. So delves, although technically daily, do have a shortened functionality weekly, but they are a great source of gear, so I highly suggest you do them. Next, let's talk about raiding. How does raiding work? So you'll be locked out from each boss in terms of raids based on your attempts. So for example, if you do the skittering battlements in LFR, even if you get no gear, you're still locked out from that boss. And the same is for heroic, the same is for anything else. You're not locked out from the instance, so you can rejoin the instance, but you are locked out from the boss if you've beaten them from loot. Obviously, the main goal would be to beat each boss each week. Sometimes that is very difficult, depending on your party. So try not to worry too much about this, but it is something you want to try and do. So even if you're just doing LFR or normal or heroic, clear them as best you can so that you can obviously try to farm those events as much as possible, or those raids, and to have the best selection of gear. And then finally, let's talk dungeons. So dungeons work actually a little bit differently. You can spam dungeons as much as possible. So dungeons are completely different. If you really, really want to, you can spam dungeons as much as possible, especially when Mythic Plus comes out. You can spam higher keys. You obviously have to successfully complete the key, but dungeons are different. Dungeons are very spammable for gear, especially if you're going to run them at a super high level. The big thing you'll face with dungeons is burnout, obviously, and also you will get, to a kind of limit where you're unable to really progress because you're waiting for either weekly track rewards or upgrade materials, or you're not getting certain BIS slot drops, and you'll hit like soft caps along the way. So that's generally what happens with dungeons. So in terms of dungeons, raiding, and delves, what should you do? Well, for me, I think you should always do your coffer keys every single week. I think it's very, very important to do your coffer keys every single week because I think it's the rewards and delves scale well. Give you a single player and a group player content that you can do. Raiding and dungeons are far more set on their own pace. And so for me, I think you shouldn't realistically worry about them too much if you're not super hardcore into the scene. Just try and do the best you can, but you don't have to do them. I would say, even if you're super casual, you should try delves, whereas raiding and dungeons you don't have to do. However, if you are going to do them, try to push and do at least every single boss once as much as possible. And then the last one is the world boss. So the world boss is available. You'll see a quest for them. Always important to do the world boss. It can count towards your weekly quest, which is great, but also they drop their own rewards from the quest reward, and they also have the ability to drop rewards as well. So they are a triple threat of rewards each week. They're a great way to just kind of come in, smash it out on your character, and then step back. So I highly suggest you do it. But yeah, that's just me. So world bosses are great. You definitely should give it your best shot for sure. So yeah, one of the last activities that you can do, or one of the kind of varied activities that you can do, is snuffling. So snuffling is obviously an activity that correlates to another weekly that you can find in Gundagar's, but not only does it contribute to the weekly, basically it also gives you the ability to earn yourself knowledge and great rewards. So when you defeat these enemies, you can actually also pick up knowledge for this, for your professions and that. So it's just a great way to get that knowledge. And obviously you can trade in the quest. At Gundagar's, you can see it there, gearing up for trouble and rolling in the deep. So gearing up for trouble is the awakened machine, rolling in the deep is the Snuffling quest. So yeah. But that is that from me. So that should summarize all of the weekly events you should get through. Start with your weekly quests, then move into things like the weekly caches, then move into things like snuffling, then look at whether you want to tackle dungeons, raiding, or delves for the week. I would suggest starting with a couple delves, using your coffer keys, and then potentially choosing between raiding or dungeoning, depending on which one suits you. And if you Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at basically what you should do every single week